It's editing Gigi. I have to pre-warn. I had to reset OBS, the settings for the mic and the desktop audio. I didn't realize I had to reset the desktop audio because it looked like it was working. 99% of this podcast is just me talking. Luckily we did catch it towards the end, but we were almost a full hour in. So I hope that you're excited for the Pasta Podcast starring only Gigi today. I do have some clips of Olivia repeating what she had said regarding, her stories that she had started talking about and didn't get recorded. And I will be leaving the spaces where Olivia is talking, but you can't hear it in for comedic effect because nobody watches this anyways, and I think it's going to be funny. I will be still editing in the parts where she summarizes into the, what she was talking about originally, into the places that she was talking about them. But I will be writing down the times at which those occur, and I will be putting it in the description so that you don't have, if you're watching this, actually listening to this, you don't have to you don't have to listen to all of the insane amounts of silence that there are for the parts where she's only talking. I'm gonna let the original Gigi, who has no idea what's about to come, take this over.
Pasta fans round the world unite. There's a podcast for you tonight with Gigi and Olivia, about to hit you with some penny trivia. So come on and listen in. We're talking about pasta again. It's the Pasta Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Pasta Podcast, where we talk about nothing but pasta. Today, we will not be talking about pasta. Today, we will be talking about our worst experiences with our teachers. I, of course, am a pasta chef. My name is Gigi. I don't know. My brain was just not working. Anyways, welcome back to the Pasta Podcast. This is season 3. This is probably going to be our last season. We may pick it up again, but nobody watches this. And we're a little tired, so watch all of the people that follow me on Twitter start watching the podcast after we finish the 3rd season. And you know what he said to me 2 weeks ago? He said to me, "How's the Pasta Podcast? I haven't watched an episode in a couple weeks." So our best fan isn't even watching the episodes. Well, the real fans were the, I was going to say friends we made along the way, but we didn't make any friends. So, speaking of having no friends, maybe we should talk about school. Yeah. I think that we have to introduce the teachers before we start talking about them. We had, well, I already know what I'm calling one of them because one of them you named a while back when I had written a Wattpad thing about my life and I deleted it, but you commented and said his name in a different way, and I thought it was so funny, and it stuck in my brain. My fifth grade teacher, Mr. Mountain, he will be coming up. I think for me at least, our third grade teacher is definitely coming up, Mrs. Drawing. We're not gonna remember that name, but I can't think of any other. Okay. Well, let's just start off with an easy one. What's one that we both experienced? Cuz
Okay, so everybody, me and Gigi's have some technical malfunctions. I was not part of the podcast, unfortunately. Um, it's okay. Um, I do have a story about. I will clear up some of my stories really quickly. Um, the first one I talked about, um, owl guy pretended he didn't like owls and embarrassed me.
yeah, I do remember standing up by the board. You did most of the talking. I think I think he required me to do like some of the presentationing, and I was just like, I can point at the things. And he was just like, good enough. We have degrees in yapology. He seemed kind of like as an adult looking back, he seemed kind of like a little bit of a bully. Like he was good with the kids, but he did take favorites, and he like was very kind of cruel to or like cold to some of the other students, mainly us. And I think that was one of those moments because if it had been any of his favorite students, and he would have been like, yeah, yeah, you know. Yeah. Mean girl behavior. You're a teacher. Stop it. Um, yeah, I think that presentations is one of those things that I've never been able to do for teachers mainly, but just in general. I'm not very good at them. I can do silly ones. I've done them on the Pasta podcast to Olivia, and I've shown a couple to my parents. And that's about the extent I'll go. But I I really struggled with that as a kid, and I wasn't very talkative, and I was very introverted, even more so than now. So could you imagine? um, I think that if somebody had stabbed me in the foot, I would take a couple minutes to tell somebody that that happened. I would not have said anything. I would have been like, ow. And then I would have been like, do you think I can interrupt them and tell them that that happened? Yeah. I I would definitely use Olivia to my advantage to get her to talk for me because I was just not very okay with talking. You were my service dog. You were servicing me, and I was giving you nothing in return. I didn't even give you treats. Service dogs get better treatment than Olivia did. Well, you get those anyways. Um, Well, on the subject of presentations, do you remember our state hat presentations? Um, I don't know if I'm remembering this wrong, which is most of these stories because I have memory issues. But is it just me, or do I remember being like, Mr. Mountain being like, "Hey, you're gonna be going next," and then I would have an anxiety attack, and then he would be like, "Oh, actually, you're not next." And then that would happen like three more times until it was my turn. I feel like that's how I perceived it. All I remember is like being in the hallway with you multiple times while other people were doing their presentations, and you were like, "Gigi, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this." We got the traumas mixed up. Yeah. Yeah. I do I do remember I did do it. I do remember, and I'm not even gonna try to come up with a different name because you won't know who I'm talking about. Luke in our class, he laughed at me while I was doing it, and I remember that made me feel so shitty. And if I was me back then, like the way that I am now, I would have gotten off the stage and I would have punched him in the face. And that's not even me being dramatic. I think I would have done that, like if I was me now, because what are they gonna do? Suspend me? That's homophobic. That's ableist. And also he was bullying me and I'm a girl and he's a boy, so he's the only one that can bully people, and he's not allowed to hit me back. So this is like 2010 where I'm allowed to hit him. Anyways, yeah, Mr. Mountain was not very good at handling my anxiety, and we got the big story about that, but we'll leave that for now. They just didn't get it like us. You're like, yeah, I can do this, and I'm making it out of satin, too.
Second story I had, I'm pretty sure this was about the boy I had a crush on laughed at me because of my smacking awesome shirt.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that one was. We laughed a lot when we were in the choir. People did not take the choir very seriously, and like they shouldn't have because it wasn't good. But that wasn't the point. Like this is you guys have to still do this because in our school we had to sing anyways, even if you weren't a part of the choir. It's just that we decided we wanted to on our off days too. Yeah. But I don't know if this did you get laughed at during the Out Into the Woods performance more, or did we get laughed at more during our Grease performance? Because they didn't have any guys, so we had to play an anti-Shakespeare. Yeah, I think that they were. Well, yeah, didn't Natalie say that call us lesbians at one time? And then like 3 or 4 years later, I get into high school and she had come out as a lesbian. And that was the first time I was like, huh, maybe bullies are projecting. Maybe they are. But yeah, getting back on the topic of teachers. who really, like, they're the worst bullies, because when you're a kid, you can, like, your parents will tell you, like, oh, bullies, they're just, like, you know, they're insecure about themselves, whatever. They'll tell you whatever about the person that's bullying you, and it could be true. It also could not be true, because some bullies are just mean. Like, we have to stop telling kids that they're just like, oh, he just likes you, or oh, he doesn't know how to express that he likes you, or he, you know, he's feeling insecure about his body weight, so he's making fun of yours. And it's like, sometimes kids are just mean. Sometimes they were raised that way. Let's not pretend that these kids are, like, all the time good people, because sometimes they weren't raised by good people. Yeah. I, I, yeah, well, what I was gonna say is that teachers are sometimes the worst bullies, because they have no excuse. They have no excuse, and they're worse people, because by the time that you turn, like, 30, your personality solidifies, and that's just who you are now. You can't change them. That's how I feel with old people. Like, the whole you can't teach a dog new tricks, that works for everybody over the age of 30, I think. This is just who they are now. And I will say, I don't know if this teacher was really a bully. I don't know if Mr. Mountain was really a bully, but he felt like a bully. He was like, I was so excited. I met him at the end of our, like 4th grade graduation. I met him, and my mom spoke for me, because, yeah, my mom spoke for me, because I was like, you know, I couldn't talk. But she was like, she's so excited to have, like, a new teacher, like a male teacher. It's really exciting for her, and she's excited to, like, get to know you. And all that was true, because I hadn't known him. And it was exciting. I don't really understand why it was more exciting that he was a man. I think it was just because I'd only had female teachers. So I was like, oh, it's going to be different. He's going to be, like, a better teacher, or maybe he's going to understand things more. I don't know. But when I got into 5th grade, he wasn't like a bad teacher. At least I didn't think so. But he just wasn't, like, super nice, like I thought he was going to be. The way that he acted out of class. And we had a school play that we had to do. Yeah, we're getting into this one. And he was like, hey, you need to participate in the play. And I was like, I am going to have a lot of anxiety. I can't do that. Like, I don't know if I told him this or my mom did. I'm sure we both did. If I said anything, I'm sure my mom reinforced it. But I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to screw up the play. I did tell him, like, I'm going to screw up the play. I warned him. And he was like, okay, I'll get you a small part. You can be Paul Revere's kid. One of the many. With no lines. See, it's the only parts that are ingrained in my memory are the parts that I'm about to discuss. See, the apparently being one of Paul Revere's kids wasn't enough for me. He decided we needed applause signs, you know, for our play, for our family and friends who are gonna applaud no matter what, even if they think it's shit. So it's really pointless. hidden memory for Olivia. But yeah, so me and the classmate, I won't say her name, but we made some applause signs for both sides of the theater, because it's only yay big. People can't look across the stage. We need 2 applause signs, and we need applause signs because the grandparents might not want to applaud their grandchildren. Anyways, I won't go on about how insane that is, but that is still insane to me. Anyways, so there's a script, right? There's a script, and after almost every scene, but not every scene, it says where the applause sign is supposed to go up. And I'm going by that script. My classmate is not going by that script. She's doing it every scene. Sometimes the scene hasn't even ended yet, and she's holding it there. And I was sitting there being like, nah, I'm not gonna play into her thing. I'm only gonna put it up when I think I'm supposed to put it up, because she's doing it wrong. And I can't communicate that to her because she's across the stage. Also, like, the other kids that were doing like background stuff were like, Gigi, you have to put the sign up. And I was like, no, shut the fuck up. No, I don't. It says right there, it says scene ends. And then the next scene, there's no applause sign in the middle there. Do you see the word applause? I don't. And we get back to class after this horrendous play. Awful play, by the way. We didn't need this. And also, I don't remember, like, it's not like helpful for remembering history, because I don't remember anything about Paul Revere other than the fact he had kids and he rides horse. Video games. They teach you so much. Anyways. Olivia was there, confirmed. Olivia is thousands of years old. So old. Okay. Well, anyways, moving on. Moving on to what happened after we get in the classroom. We get in the classroom, and we all sit down at our seats. And he comes up to me, and he kind of leans over me so only I can hear what he's about to say to me. And I'm thinking, oh my god, he's going to tell me I did a great job. I overcame my anxiety. I'm a amazing person. He did not say that. He did not say that. What he said was, Gigi, I'm really disappointed in you. I don't remember anything other than the fact he told me he was disappointed in me. I'm sure that there was more to that. But he told me, Gigi, I'm really disappointed in you. And that, if that wasn't enough, he walks up to the rest of the class at the front of the class and he says, everyone, you did really great. And I'm sitting at my desk and I'm crying because I'm a kid. I'm a kid with anxiety. And I told him that I wasn't going to be able to handle it. I know, right? And my classmate that's like sitting next to me, she's like, what's wrong, Gigi? Are you okay? And I just couldn't say anything because I was crying. And I don't remember where you were sitting. You weren't sat next to me that year. So you couldn't do anything about it. And I don't remember how my mom, like, I told my mom about it in the car and like discussed it with her the entire, like, the rest of the day after school. And I don't remember how she communicated that had happened to the principal and everything, because she told people, because she's my mom, so she's like, hey, that can't happen, that's weird and that's mean. And he did not get fired, he did not get suspended, he did not get slapped on the wrist, he did not apologize to me. I don't know what was supposed to happen there. And it made the fact that I didn't go to PE class and stayed in there and filed some paperwork for him during that time a little bit more awkward. But yeah, anyways, Mr. Mountain, I fucking hate you. I hope that you die, and I mean that genuinely. Also, a couple years later, I saw him at a restaurant. He was a table away from me. At the time, I had blue hair, so luckily he didn't notice that I was sitting there, But, like, I had to leave the restaurant multiple times because I was having so much anxiety. I was like, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want him to notice me. I don't like him. Teachers are so mean.
Third, two teachers. One of the teachers Gigi was talking about, and one of the teachers I was talking about that you didn't hear. He gave me peanuts in my ice cream, even though he knew I was very allergic to peanuts. And another teacher made the same mistake again that same year.
And by the way, there are peanutless versions of this. I have to say that because I have them all the time. Who came first, the chicken or the egg? Both of them were bad, so it doesn't matter. I probably did because at that age I was so picky. I wouldn't like eat around the peanuts. But also, when I'm around you, I'm very careful and I don't eat peanuts. That way, like, I can talk to you without being like, oh my god, Olivia's gonna go into anaphylactic shock because I'm talking to her and I just ate peanuts. No, I'm more worried about me eating peanuts and then going to your house 2 hours later and being like, I haven't brushed my teeth. Is that okay? Once I went to your house after I had eaten something like a Reese's cup or something, and I was like, Olivia, I didn't brush my teeth. I can't stand next to you and talk to you. And then you were like, Gigi, it's fine. Get your own damn water. Yes. And I have to say, before you say this thing, I have to say that they did that every Friday. She played the Gummy Bear song super loud, and that was the year that I had my accident and I had been diagnosed with sensory overload, and it was really bad as a kid. And I was like, hey, well, my mom was like, hey, Gigi can't handle really loud sounds, so you gotta promise me that it'll be like pretty quiet in the classroom. Um, I would. She would be like, you gotta dance. You gotta, like, get ready for Friday and the weekend. And I would be like, bitch, I can't do anything right now. I'm frozen. I can't, like, when you have sensory overload, I don't know if you've ever had it. Like, it's something you can experience if you're not, like, diagnosed with it. You shut down. You just shut down. And, I had it the other day and for the first time in years, and nothing loud was happening. My mom was vacuuming. That's all that was happening. And I had my hands over my head, and my mom was like, you can go upstairs if you want. Like, you don't have to stay down here. And I was like, I can't move. But yeah, anyways, getting back to your story. Yeah. It'll get you ready for the real world. I don't use checks now. Three points to Gigi for being quiet, and I'm experiencing a shutdown, so I can't be loud anyways. You were supposed to read along with the book. Remember when she'd be like, okay, I need Gigi to read this paragraph, and then I need Olivia to read this paragraph. No, I'm not saying it was a good system, but that's what we had to do. We had to sit there and think, okay, this is my paragraph. I gotta practice it. It was like be teacher's aide for a day or be a teacher for a day. Olivia was embezzling funds at age 9. Was FBI. It was.
excuse me. And also, I forget if I had another one. Anyways, oh wait, yeah. I had a checks and balances system in third grade. I embezzled money. The teacher called my mom when she found out. My mom was like, "This girl is 9." And then my final story that I had just started just now.
And your mom laughed over the line. Also, like, given the fact that, like, you thought that just writing a bigger number would give you more money, that just proves she wasn't teaching us right, because that's not how checks work. You can't just add $60 because you want to when somebody gives you $20. I don't think so. She probably used like real fake money, like physical money or something, instead of checks and balances. Cause I cause like forgery of like fake money is one thing. You can tell that that's something. Actually, funnily enough, my niece came over a couple months ago. This was a while ago. I'm sure I told you about it at the time, but I just remembered it. She has her own money for her classroom. And my brother was trying to teach her how to print more on the printer outside. And I was like, you can't get her in trouble. You're going to get her in trouble. And she didn't use any of it. But it did look pretty convincing and looked like all the other ones. You're like, I have to be like, you have to ask your teacher for a bank account, okay? Because you're going to be like, I have too much money. I need to put it in a bank account. Can I learn checks and balances? And she'll be like, I'm so glad that you want to learn that. Of course I'll let you do that. And then you will fuck everything up and just add $60 when you're supposed to add 20. My mom and my dad used checks to pay our hairdresser, and that is it. That's so unserious of them. Um, Fireplace. Well, you know, I do have this one memory that we both experienced with Mrs. Drawing. It wasn't really so much her as it just ended in her classroom. You remember when we were doing gymnastics as a hobby on the playground? Okay. I mean, he also hasn't been at war. So, yeah, just because it wasn't your troops. Anyways, so do you remember when we did gymnastics as a hobby on the recess playground? We got really good at it. And we used to host like competitions. We would always alternate the judges so that it was fair, although it was never fair really, because some of them actually did gymnastics, and some of them, like us, did not, and we just like learned it there. So it was very different. Yeah. I did win once. That was fun. I think I won because you were one of the judges and you discussed it with the other judge. And you were like, I think that Gigi was really good. And also, this one girl wins every time because she's better than everyone else. And that was true. You know who I'm talking about. The popular girl. She won all the time because she was actually good at it. Yeah. But anyways, one of these days, I don't know how or who discovered it, but one of like the teachers that were out on their like recess thing, was walked up to by one of the former / current members of the gymnastics team that we had going, and she ratted us out, and she was like, they're doing it again. They're doing handstands against the fence, and they're jumping all over the place. They're gonna get hurt. I don't know what she said, but she ratted us out. And then we got called after lunch had ended. We got called to like we got called by Mrs. Drawing, and she was like, I've heard that some of you are part of a little gymnastics thing at recess, and you guys have to stop. Basically, she just shut us down for no reason. It was the only fun thing about recess. I I think that's the reason we joined the choir, was because we were like, well, what else are we supposed to do now? Because choir was like during lunch, so after we ate lunch, we would go into the choir room and like do our choir shit. Yeah. I think I had the same sandwich every day too. Nutella. Nutella with Wonder Bread. We still buy Wonder Bread now. It's delicious. It's bad for you, but it's delicious. I can't imagine doing that now. I'm a face stuffer now. But anyways, yeah, so I do remember her shutting us down for the gymnastics team, and that was also the most unserious things. All the unserious stuff happened in Miss Drawing's class. She took things way too seriously. First, it was the gymnastics, which I think she only shut us down was because, like, we were doing handstands against the fence. Otherwise, it would have been like, whatever, because they had to pay for the fence. So she was probably told they can't be destroying school property or something. If we were just doing cartwheels. I barely remember that, and I don't remember all of the... I always found it funny that we did that because I had never listened to, like, a clean version of that song. I would always listen to the version that had the word bitch in it. I know, but, like, I find it funny that I went along with it and being like, yeah, I'm not gonna say it, even though I say it at home. Pizza! Pizza! And he still is. Hey, Olivia. No, I think I've just realized that, you know how I said I had to set my microphone up? I don't know if it recorded any of the desktop audio, even though it was before. Because it's not doing anything. Hold on a second. Can I go... I don't think we shouldn't have to start over, because the reason I noticed it was because when I was playing the game, it was coming through on the desktop audio, but not the mic. So, and it was doing that after I fixed it. So, theoretically, it should be, I don't know, it should be working. Audio. Okay, I think I may have found the issue. I need you to speak.
Hello?
I fixed it.
You fixed it just now?
Yeah. I don't know how that happened because I didn't change that.
Or you're talking to the wall?
It was so good.
What? Wait, we don't have anything?
We have my audio.
So,
What am I supposed to do?
that's the podcast starring Gigi.
Well,
Well, we're just gonna have a really short podcast, and it's just gonna be just you talking. It's okay.
welcome back to the Pasta Podcast. It's just me today. Olivia was here. I will be responding to her. You just can't hear her. Maybe I'll do a silly thing, and I'll sub in what I think that you said in response to me.
Oh, that would be funny. Although it might take a lot of text work.
Yeah, well,
You can all Sunday.
I don't know what I'll do.
I
It'll
say
be
just
fine.
cut out the parts I contributed to the conversation. I could tell something really exciting and elating right now. And then
Okay.
you could just keep that in, because it's recording me now, right?
Yeah.
And I'll just say a little, like, memo. I'm gonna start off from where I left off now.
Okay. We're back,
That's
everybody.
basically
At the end of the podcast, we're back.
We're back. Okay. Nobody listens to this anyway. But, so okay, so Nepo baby, right? And he, one time, I remember this is a good teacher experience, by the way. One time, I was getting paired up with him for a project, and he let out the loudest groan, and a bunch of guys laughed at it. Like, they were like, yeah, he's groaning because he's stuck with Olivia, and she's weird. And so I remember that was the first time a teacher was ever like, why are you groaning like that? That is so rude. And he was like, because I have to be partnered with Olivia. And he was like, what's wrong with Olivia? And so they she put us to the side. I remember I was going through girlhood that day. Girlhood and hay fever. So it was not a good mixture. But I remember sitting down with him, and she was like, okay, you guys are gonna settle whatever is going on, and I'm gonna come back, and you guys better be like friendly to each other. You guys better be nice to each other. And so we were like, he was like, do you have a problem with me? And I was like, no, but you have a problem with me. And he was like, no. And so we just like sat there, and we were like, I'm sorry for those years of torment. And we just apologized to each other, and we were like, we won't be mean to each other anymore. And after that, he was nice to me.
Yeah, and then I had to unlearn to be rude to him. Because I hated him because you hated him, but you hated him because he hated you, and neither of you hated each other.
We literally just hated each other because we hated each other. It was no Yeah.
I have no
So-
idea how that started, because one of you had to done something that made the other one go, "Oh, he hates me, so I have to hate him," or something.
I really don't know what it was. I think it was just like an initial, like, maybe I liked him and I didn't know how to express it. I don't know. I don't think I ever liked him though. Maybe I did.
I think that you thought that you had a crush on him, like the very first time that you set eyes on him, and then I think you heard him talk, and maybe you didn't like him very much, and then maybe you had, because you were a pretty vocal kid about who you did and didn't like. Maybe you were like, I didn't like that you said that, and then he was like, oh, I hate you now because you hate me, and then you decided that too.
I was a very I didn't express my feelings a lot. I would just say how I was feeling at that time. I wouldn't say why. I would just say I don't like you. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways, do you have anything else or should we wrap this up?
I think we should wrap this up because I'm just now trying to figure out how I'm supposed to edit all that together because I forgot to reset the desktop audio.
JJ,
Anybody
why
else?
do you do it?
Anybody else that uses OBS in the chat, please comment and a fuck OBS for me.
I have an OBGYN.
That's not what I meant. The thing is my brother did warn me. He was like, you might need to reset like your mic audio or something. And I did. I reset my mic audio. I just guessed that one of those was also the desktop audio, and I accidentally set it to my mic.
Did you hear that?
What is that?
Sorry, Shadow's being very loud.
That's your cat? It sounds like a man.
Shadow.
Meow.
What's wrong? Anyways,
I can record the sound the soundboard audio and replace it with what you're saying.
You should just do quack sound effects. Quack quack. All right. Thank you for listening to the Pasta Podcast. I had a great time talking with you today. We hope to see you next time. We love you, we miss you, and we hope you eat some good pasta soon.
Take us out, Kyle.
Pasta la vista, I wouldn't wanna be you, so I'll see you later, Alfredo alligator. I'm gonna hit the road, you tortellini toad, and out of here and grab another beer. Pasta la vista, I wouldn't wanna be, yes, I've got to split. Sailing tiny elephant, it's about the time. Oh, rigatoni rhino, the world of pasta so fast, but it's the end of the cat. Pasta la vista, I wouldn't wanna be you. I'm headed out the house, Mr. Marinara Mouse. Now you can change the channel, cannelloni, cannelloni.